Hello everyone, welcome to my channel, and today I want to discuss Illuvium Zero. Illuvium Zero is an industrial building game designed to allow players to gradually develop and construct their own industrial complexes for asset productivity and revenue sharing. The primary goal is to use your industrial complex to produce fuel and blueprints. To keep these videos under 8 minutes, I'll be breaking this discussion into 3 parts: land, extractable assets, and building types. So let's begin with land. Each land parcel is procedurally generated by an algorithm and categorized into a land tier. Land tiers are based on a 5-tier model ranging from 0 to 5. These tiers are determined by the type, variety, quantity, and potential output of fuel and resource sites on a given parcel of land. Thus, land rarity is based on fuel and resource site productivity output metrics. Tier 1 being the least rare plot with over 90,000 instances, while Tier 5 plots are the rarest with only 7 instances, but also existing in the main Illuvium game map. On a side note, Tier 0 plots are free land models of an infinite quantity, and thus do not facilitate revenue sharing or interface with the main Illuvium game. They are for demo purposes only. So for the purposes of this video, I will remain focused on land tiers 1 through 5, which I will refer to as T1 through T5. T1 plots likely will not contain a fuel site. However, it's almost certain that even Tier 5 plots of the highest scarcity won't contain all the necessary resources to build highly productive complexes and achieve maximum output potential. For that reason, landowners of all tiers will need to utilize converter sites or marketplaces to acquire additional resources to compensate for land deficiencies and successfully build out their land complexes. Here is a sample breakdown of land tier and site scarcity. Tier 1 plots will contain a small number of resource sites and a small quantity resource output. As mentioned, they likely will not contain a fuel site or a landmark. This means that fuel will likely fetch a high price in the secondary market. A Tier 2 site will contain a moderate number of resource sites of minimal variety and a moderate resource output. A Tier 2 plot will also contain a limited number of fuel sites, again of minimal variety, and a minimal fuel output. On the other hand, a Tier 5 plot will contain several resource sites of high resource output, and a moderate number of fuel sites with a moderate fuel output, and a landmark. However, Tier 5 plots will contain no resource or fuel variety. Each land plot exists in one of 7 regions. Each region is characterized by a common resource and an element. Thus, alluvials that roam that region will likely have an affinity to the element specific to that region. At the moment, it appears that there are 2 regions rich in hydrogen, 2 regions rich in silicon, and 3 regions rich in carbon. One could conclude that carbon would be the most common resource, as there are 3 regions rich in carbon. However, we don't know how the 7 Tier 5 land plots are distributed among these regions. Furthermore, as compared to Tier 4 plots, Tier 3 plots seem to have a greater quantity of resource sites and a higher overall output metric. Thus, carbon could actually be moderately rare depending on the tier regional distribution models. Personally, I think the region rich in silicon will be the rarest. So that concludes the Illuvium Zero Part 1 land breakdown. If you've learned anything from this video, please give me a like and subscribe, and please be on the lookout for Part 2, Extractable Assets. Until next time, guys, peace.